Welcome back. Welcome back. Today we are talking about something that can directly impact how your business wins government work, no matter what you or your business does. I am Derrick Green, former contracting officer, procurement officer, federal acquisition planning executive, and former procurement manager with Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, Department of Veterans Affairs, and City of Houston. Now, government contracting and the FAR overhaul. That's what we're talking about because the government is being pushed to move faster. Less delay, less outdated processes, more speed, more practicality, and more results. Now, if you have never heard of the FAR, F-A-R, don't worry. I am going to explain that to you simply. Then we're going to break down what the FAR is, why it matters, and why agencies are under pressure to move faster, which benefits you. What's changing in real life, how businesses should adapt right now. What smart companies need to do immediately, the different solicitation types, and how to respond to each one of them. So we will cover RFP, request for proposal, ITB, invitation to bid, RFQ, RFI, and we'll briefly touch on GSA modernization as well. So let's get into it, all right? Now, as I always say, take notes because we don't do the pretty pictures over here, all right? We want you to be very sharp. So let's start here. If you want to do business with the government, there is one phrase you need to understand, the FAR. That stands for Federal Acquisition Regulation. Now, let me simplify that. The FAR is the main rule book for how the federal government buys things, products, services, construction, capital projects, technology, professional support, emergency response. It's literally how the government acquires everything, how they get it through people like you. If an agency needs to buy it, the FAR usually governs how they do it. Now, why should you care? Because if you don't understand the rules, you will misunderstand the opportunity. And a lot of businesses lose before they ever begin. Now, here's the big shift. Government leaders know procurement can be too slow. That's the procurement process. Too many steps, too many delays, too much paperwork with too little outcome. And when buying moves slow, bad things happen. Technology gets outdated before it arrives. Construction costs rise. Critical staffing remains vacant. Emergency needs, they wait too long. Taxpayer money gets wasted, right? So, across the government, there has been continued pressure to modernize these processes, to use smarter buying methods, shorten the timelines, use commercial solutions faster, and remove unnecessary friction. That means, so that's what many people call the FAR overhaul mindset. Now, let's break down some key areas. Point one, take notes. For the government to use commercial buying methods faster, how they acquire or procure things. That's why we use terms like acquisitions and procurement. Explanation, the government does not need to reinvent everything. Many things already exist in the private market. That means you, software, office solutions, security systems, vehicles, professional services. Instead of creating long custom procurements, government agencies are being encouraged to buy proven commercial solutions faster. Now, let's give a FAR anchor in there. FAR, Part 12, Acquisition of commercial products and commercial services. This section supports buying items and services commonly sold in the commercial marketplace. A real-life example. Instead of spending 14 months designing a custom project management platform, an agency may buy a secure commercial platform with configuration options. Faster deployment, lower risk, better value. Point 2, to increase competition, making space for you, but reduce delay. Explanation: competition matters. It protects fairness and it can improve pricing. But competition should not mean paralysis, because that new increased competition means inclusion for you. Also, some buys are slowed down by over-engineering the process. Too many steps in the procurement solicitation process. Well, a lot of that is now gone. FAR Anchor, FAR Part 6, Competition Requirements. This section governs full and open competition and exceptions when justified. Pay attention. A real-life example. If only a few firms can perform a niche cybersecurity task, the government should structure the acquisition realistically, not waste 6 extra months pretending there are 200 capable vendors. Come on now, we know better than that, right? Now, point 3, to do better market research up front. Explanation: many bad procurements begin with weak acquisition planning. If agencies do not understand the market, they write poor requirements. Then vendors respond to unclear needs. And everybody loses because the government doesn't know what they're advertising and we don't know what we're responding to as vendors, right? FAR Anchor, FAR Part 10, Market Research. Agencies are expected to research available capabilities before buying. What's a real life example? Let's say an agency needs warehouse space, right? Instead of posting a vague solicitation, they first assess local inventory, pricing, loading access, security, and transit route. Now the solicitation is published smarter or more intelligently. Point 4, simplify smaller purchases. Explanation: not every purchase needs a giant process. Some buys should be quicker and cleaner. FAR Anchor, FAR Part 13, simplified acquisition procedures used to reduce administrative burden for qualifying purchases. Real life example. Instead of a long formal process for modest facility repairs, the agency may use simplified procedures and solve the issue quickly. Point 5, to focus on performance after award. Explanation: winning the contract is only the beginning. Many projects fail after award because execution was weak. FAR Anchor, FAR Part 42, Contract Administration. FAR Part 46, Quality Assurance. Real life example: a contractor wins a facilities contract, but staffing is late, reporting is weak, and deliverables slip. The award looked good, but performance did not, obviously. What this means for businesses right now: if the government buying is moving faster, slow vendors lose. If agencies want practical solutions, fluffy capability statements lose. If timelines shorten, prepared vendors win. It's all about preparation and being able to move fast now. That's the point in all of this. So what should you do? 1, have pricing ready. 2, have staffing plans ready. 3, have insurance ready. 3, have references ready. And 4, have your operational story clear. Because when opportunity appears, you may have days, not months. That's beautiful, right? And what this means for government agencies: better purchasing outcomes, not paperwork theater, better use of market research, use of realistic requirements, and use of the right vehicle for the need, and better management of performance after the award. Now, here are the solicitation types that everyone should understand. Let's be practical with it, right? Different opportunities require different responses. RFP, request for proposal, used for your more complex buys, professional services. The agency evaluates technical approach, experience, management, plan, price, and more. How to respond. Be strategic, be creative, and answer every question. Show understanding of the mission. Show execution capability. Do not just talk about yourself. Show how you're set apart from other potential competition, for lack of better words, right? ITB, invitation to bid. It's often more price-driven, especially construction or clearly defined scopes. How to respond? Just be precise, straightforward, meet every requirement, submit clean pricing. Do not assume they will figure it out. Be straightforward. No fluff on this one. RFQ, request for quote. Usually you're more simpler and often used for commercial items for quicker purchases. How to respond? Just be responsive, be fast, be accurate. Just give them exactly what they ask for. This is not the time to be creative. They want to make this easy to get it off their desk. RFI, one a lot of you overlook, request for information. This is not always an award. It's often used for market research. How to respond? Take it seriously. This is where future requirements get shaped. If you ignore RFIs, you may show up too late at the RFP stage. I actually talk about this on a previous episode, all right? Look it up, solicitation types. Quick note on GSA updates. GSA continues modernization, how agencies buy through schedules and category management tools. That means many agencies want faster access to vetted vendors. We'll do a full separate episode on GSA mass modernization, all right? But a practical example would be, let's say an agency needs emergency temporary office space after storm damage. The old mindset, months of delay, multiple unclear steps, overcomplicated processes. Modern mindset, use market research, use available leasing options for those who want to lease buildings to the government, use simplified methods where allowed, award quickly, restore operations. Now, ask yourself, if that happened tomorrow, are you ready? And finally, government contracting is important for you to understand. It's not becoming more casual. It is becoming more practical. Thankfully, finally. Faster does not mean reckless. It just means smarter. It means efficiency. And the companies that win next will not be the loudest. They will be the most ready. Once again, I am Derrick Green, former federal contracting officer, also known as Theo for those who have followed the things I've done in the music world. Talk soon.